I thought I was on the stage. That's what it says when I'm backstage. Hi, hello, and welcome. Welcome in, everybody. Don't mind my cat or my blanket on my chair, but I got a co host tonight and Nancy. So I feel like I got a full room. And there's Fred Field. Long time no see. How you doing, Fred? It's been a while. It's been a long while. Well, welcome on in. If you're new and you're just joining the channel for the first time or coming in and checking out the channel, my name is Tanya or TitaniumBuilt. I remember to tell you guys my name in the beginning of the live. I think last night we were an hour and 8 minutes in when I was like, oh yeah, my name. So I always forget to tell people that not everybody knows about me over here in my little small corner of the YouTube world. So hopefully you guys are all having a great weekend. It's been fabulous day today. It's been a great day. I just keep looking at my camera. I'm looking at the camera and I'm looking at the cat. So if my eyes are looking funny, that's why. He's just so darn cute. I don't get sick of looking at him. This cat is awesome. Except for when he's like around his food or he wants treats or he wants something. Because then his meow's really loud. But he's sleeping like a good boy. Yeah. So today I was like, I'm going to deep clean this chair and I'm not going to let the dog on it anymore without a blanket. So I put the blanket on the chair and then the cat went up there. So I'm like, cool. So I got me a new co-host tonight. I can't say I'm disappointed in that. I was just getting ready to ask you, Jan. And then I saw Arlene's chat. So she said that you're feeling better. Good. Man, I don't like when I'm sick and I don't feel good. And I've had like an infection before and it's not fun. It's not a fun time. But I'm glad that you went to the doctor and got some antibiotics. She does look like she's been planted in that basket. Were you here when we first got Nancy? Were you still with us? I think you were. It feels like it's been forever, but not like that long at the same time. It feels like you weren't even gone. It's only been like a few days. It feels like you've just been here this whole time. But I've had Nancy. I think we got Nancy at 5,000 subscribers. Now I need a Vinny Politan. I feel like I need a Vinny because she's getting a little lonely back there. The dog is finally just now not scared of Nancy. That took a long time. I thought you were. I was like, because I was thinking 5,000 subscribers is like a while, not like a long time ago, but a while ago. Now that I said it out loud, I mean, we're 8 more over that now. Look at us. Look at us just growing. Isabel's been here since the start. You've been here since I've had like 200 subscribers. I should have known that. I should have known better. We are going to talk about Chelsea Grimm tonight on tonight's live. If you guys are interested in becoming a member of our channel, I'll put the channel link in the chat for you guys. I can hear the dogs are up. Vincent must be home. He literally made it like 6 minutes late. I was surprised the cat didn't wake up. I was waiting on him to kind of wait. Oh, his eyes are open. He usually will jump down and go to the door. So, Isabel, you're so right. Isabel knows my channel better than me because I was like, have I had that Nancy that long? You're right. 5,000 subscribers, we got the sign, and then 10,000 subscribers, we got the Nancy. Isabel, man, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you guys are here. And I'm so glad Jan's feeling better. I'm glad everyone's in the chat. It's a good night. It's a good night. And the cat's still here. Yeah, it was 10,000 for Nancy. Man, we really worked hard for her, didn't we? Vincent said 25,000, I think, and he'll come do a show with me. But then he tried to up it to like 100,000. We're not doing that. We'll give him 25. Well, thank you, Mindy. I appreciate that. Thanks. I've changed about 3 times tonight. It's really warm in here. I've got my fan going. Me pointed on me a little bit. And I'm going to mute myself for just a second and turn my camera off. I'm just going to say hey to Vincent, make sure that he's cool, and I'll be right back. Hold on one second, guys. Okay, thank you guys for giving me a minute. He's cool. I was just making sure it was him too. We don't want anybody coming in the house that don't belong in the house. And my dogs, like they would bark, I would think. Yeah, they would bark. I had to think about that for a minute. But he didn't move. He's cool. He's cool in here with me. Hey Reba. Hey Glowbug. Hey Paige. See, I was just giving people time to get on in here. He usually, like, every once in a while, if you guys are familiar with the channel, Vincent's my boyfriend. He's my silent partner, I guess you would say. But usually, like, once a week, he has to take like a trip out of town. So whenever he does, we usually like plan it around the live. But he kind of just happened to pop in right when I was starting the live. So I just wanted to be like, hey, I'm in there. But he knew because he plays my lives. He's a good support to the channel. He's a really good support to the channel. So we'll go ahead and get started with tonight's live. We're going to be talking about Chelsea Grimm tonight. I'm going to pull up her missing person flyer again here in a moment, and I'll give you guys the telephone number. If anybody hears this episode, or you hear this live and you're like, hey, I'm from Coconino County, or you've seen something, know somebody that knows something, please give them a call. It's been almost 2 months since she's been missing, and we need to find her. Make sure she's okay. Just, are you okay? But the telephone number for them is 928-774-4523. And I'll make sure that I say that throughout the live as well. So. And welcome on in, everybody. Hey, Doodlebug. And Doodlebug's pretty treat. Oh, my Lord. They had Target is having a sale. Cheryl, I thought of you. Cheryl, you need to not be in Canada. I was like, how can I get this to Canada? Because I saw the cutest Christmas tree and it was like this big. And I was like, Cheryl, I'm going to make Cheryl get a Christmas tree. She's like, I'm cool. But it was only like, it was a really good price. It was like $15 and it was nice. It was really pretty. They had one with snow on it and they were like 30% off, I think. Their big trees are 50% off. Vincent's lucky he didn't go with me today. He got out of spending a lot of money. Yeah, 15, it's not bad. Not bad for like, it was like a nice little Christmas tree. One that you could use like year after year was like, it was nice. Hello to Rocky in the chair. Yeah, he's back there. He's cleaning himself now. Oh, he's giving you guys a show. He's cleaning his toes. He's cleaning his piggies away. We'll go ahead and we'll put Chelsea up here. We'll get started with our live. I love my Rocky. He's the best. I really, I've had him 14 years. I feel like, I don't know if you guys feel like this. If you're my age or older or even younger, maybe you feel like this. I feel like I've lived like 3 or 4 lives. I feel like I've lived like cat lives. Like, and each life, it feels like it was like a whole life, like, but it, it wasn't that long because I'm not that old. But I've had him for 14 years. So it seems like he's been with me just like forever and ever and ever. And he can jump and fight with the dogs and do all that kind of stuff. So I love it. I love it. Hey, Amanda, welcome in. And Wiz, I was going to say, Wiz, this is probably like a nice, not like a nice, but like a change of like topic, because me and Brooks, we cover a lot of the same cases. I feel like, not like a lot, but some of them. And this one, I don't think she's covering this one. So, my partner left. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Let me let him out the door real quick. He just had to stretch his legs out as I was opening the door. That's funny. The dog would be excited to have her spot back, because the dog was not happy when she came in and saw the cat sitting there. She was like, you're in my spot. So I'm going to make this full screen so you guys can see Chelsea here. But tonight we're going to be covering, actually, let me go ahead and put me on here so you can see me a little bit. Tonight we're going to be covering Chelsea Grimm. There are a lot of things that are contained in Chelsea's records. So I'm going to do a records request on Monday, and I'm going to try to gain access to all of her court records. That way we can go through all of them, and then we'll get like the full body cam video, which I've seen the whole body cam video. I think that we've seen the majority of it. It's just basically him walking to and from the car, and then him like in the car, putting in the information. So that's really the only thing that we didn't see in it. But I want to get everything just so that we have it, because this girl has been missing for 2 months and nobody's talking about it. And I mean, there are people talking about it. YouTube creators are talking about it, and Brian Enton. And that's like it. We've had Law and Crime do an interview with her parents, same day, News Nation. That was October 16th. It's been radio silence ever since, except for Brian Enton did like a podcast, and then he came out and he did, which the podcast was just the interviews that our parents already did spliced together. And then the second one that we'll watch tonight, the video, he actually, I think, speaks with her family on the phone. So maybe we'll get some new information. Oh, thank you, Jan. She said fur baby treats. He'll be happy because he got me. I got treats today. It was like second nature. He didn't even need them. I come home and I put the bag on the counter. I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't even need these. Oh, Wiz, you got a new computer? That's awesome. You can see better now? Yeah. The more and more I look at this picture, the more and more I think that she might have been crying too. Like, not allergies, but I don't know. To me, it looks like she has been crying. Like her cheeks are very flushed. I think that in one of the pictures, it looks like her neck is even red. Like maybe she might break out into like a hive kind of a thing, but that could be allergy. I don't know. See, I don't know. But I think that she looks like she's been crying, and she's taken a picture to remember the moment. That's what it looks like. Yeah, JLR had like a couple of videos of something, and then that was it. I know. So I was talking with SF Investigates, the PI that was working on her case. We were in contact through Twitter, and then we were going through his tweets, just like, because that's the only information we were getting. So that's what we'll do again tonight. And I reached out to him again to see what's been going on, see if there's anything else he can disclose. So we'll talk about that. And then, like I said, on Monday, she went through like a couple of different towns, like, on her way. Like she was going from San Diego to Connecticut, but she stopped in a couple different areas. So I'd have to do like records request for each, county, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to do that on Monday. So she's missing from Arizona. She's from San Diego though. So and I have a full timeline too. So we'll go over the timeline, and I will give you guys a summary of everything like up until now. So that way you guys will all know like the backstory and stuff. So let me get her up here so you guys can see her pretty picture. I'm going to put some other pictures up of her as well. That way, these are the last pictures that were taken off of her camera. She's a photographer. So I know that a lot of her friends are, they're like in a Facebook group. I've never been in a Facebook group for like any kind of true crime before, but I'm kind of, I don't want to say I don't want to go in them. I just don't want my judgment to be like clouded, if that makes sense, by like other people and their opinions. So I'm trying to be like really just keeping like to the facts. Like I don't want to, go, oh, well, she says she knows Chelsea and she said this. Like, what if she doesn't really know Chelsea and she really didn't say that, or, something along those lines. So yeah, Doodlebug, LTL has been doing a lot of coverage on this case. A lot of coverage. I was actually listening a little bit earlier to him in his interview. He did our conversation or interview, I guess, with SF. And I was learning. I was actually learning a lot. So it's always good. It's always good to learn, because then I can come and tell you guys. So I'm pretty sure that her ex PJ is getting his messages out in the Facebook group. So I may need to go in deep. But so let's just go over what happened before Chelsea disappeared. We're going to cover the timeline. We'll watch the hotel video, and I'll give you the full context of the video and see if we missed anything that we can find just to help bring Chelsea home. And like I said, Brian did another interview as well. So But a little summary of Miss Chelsea here. She is 32 years old. She's from San Diego, California, like I told you before. She has been missing since September 30th, 2023. She disappeared while going on a cross-country road trip for a wedding. After arriving in Arizona, she contacted her parents, whom she was to meet for the wedding, and told them she wasn't going to make it and that she had planned to camp for a few nights before returning home. So she got one state over and was like, not going to make it, guys. I'm going to turn back. I'm going to camp and then I'm going to turn back around. She's got, you can see the IV tattoo on her wrist. Now, I don't know if this, like on her actual wrist part, if that's part of the IV tattoo or if that's a separate tattoo. And then she has the one on her foot and it's like of a cross, which by now you wouldn't be wearing. Well, you might still be wearing sandals. So concerns were raised when her parents reported her missing on October 4th. Her SUV was later found in a rural area in Ashfork, Arizona, with 2 flat tires. Both flat tires were on the passenger side of the car. Further investigations have brought to light some peculiar details. Grimm had inquired at an Arizona motel about using euros and expressed an intention to stay off the grid. She, and we'll watch that video again as well. She also mentioned changing her name during the conversation, adding, another layer of complexity to this case. Like she's supposed to be driving cross country from California to Connecticut. She stops in Arizona. She meets a friend. She's supposed to meet her friend again, and then she cancels. Then she shows up in a cemetery, and the officers find her there. Well, before that, she shows up at the hotel saying she wants to change her name, paying in euros, wanting to stay off the grid. And then the next day, she's, in another part of Arizona and she's found in a cemetery. It's a very, very odd set of circumstances. That's her bearded lizard that she is traveling with. Her boyfriend, he is in California. And I guess according to SF, he was there during this time. So he's kind of cleared. Now, I did ask SF about the cigarettes in her purse here, because if you're a smoker, a former smoker, wherever you go, your cigarettes go if you're a smoker. SF said that he did find old packs of cigarettes, like what appeared to be like old packs of cigarettes in her car, like empty packs, but he didn't find any cigarettes in the car. And then I was trying to see what was in her door, but it looks like it's just like some sort of spray and then like a cup or something. Hope that spray isn't like harmful to that little lizard. I don't want it to spray itself. But that's her lizard. And that was actually her boyfriend PJ's bearded dragon. And she had just adopted this or inquired about having it. She just has it. We don't really know the backstory. I don't know the backstory anyway of how she actually got the bearded dragon. I know that she just was dating a guy and it was his, and then she left with it. So I don't know if, it was like if they were, talking about this and that, they were both like, yeah, you take the bearded dragon, he'll be better with you, or one of those deals, or she just kind of stole him and was like, I'll take him. So SF, he's an investigator. He does, he's a PI. He does missing persons cases. So I found out about him through the Kylie Rodney investigation, because her parents had hired him in to investigate that case. And that was my first true crime case I covered on this channel. So, and he just does missing persons. So it's really cool that he does just missing persons. So this is her car. That's how they found it. And I'll show you aerial view also, because he took drone video and everything out there. So you'll be able to see, this isn't like a real woodsy area. It's flat land, easy to go in, easy to go out. Just very strange. She also did have 2 flat tires on the passenger side, but I don't know, it's weird. It's like a catch-22. She has AAA. That's what her parents said, that she had AAA. But SF said that out there, phone coverage, like it's very spotty. Like it's shoddy. It's hard to get it. You got to kind of like walk around, try to find it. So that, I don't know. That would be the only reason why I would even get out of my vehicle. I would just always be in my, in my vehicle. Thank you, Kyle. Oh yeah, I can go back to the picture. Yeah, sure. It's almost like the bearded dragon was trying to make its body the color of the cigarette pack and the purse. When we watch that hotel video again, we'll have to see the bag in her hand. Because I have the messages. I could look too. Because I swear SF said that her purse wasn't in the car. So I thought she just took like a tote with her, another purse. But I swear the purse in that video is red. So maybe it is the same bag. We'll have to check that out. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and put, did we answer? I think we answered Isabel's question from earlier. Hey, Vanilla. AMC Mountain Man. You think she had a flat and got in the car with someone? I think what is getting me is like, even I need to get that out of my head. Like the hotel video is like before everything. Do you know what I mean? So like days before. And I just, when I keep picturing that motel video, and I think it's just a reassurance for myself, like, oh, she's fine. Look at her. She's there. She's fine. Yeah, I didn't really realize there was that much force in Arizona either. There's a lot. There is a lot. That's so cool, Kyle. That is really cool. I haven't had a drink. I don't know. It's been a long time. I mean, I've had like one. I had one beer last Thanksgiving. So almost a year. I think that, and you would think that she would be noticeable too because she's carrying a bearded dragon around with her. But it's Arizona, so I don't know. Do they have a lot of these animals out that way? Do we have any Arizona people in here? Do we have any of the Arizona people? I'm going to put this one up again. So Chelsea's 5'8". I'm actually going to go to my my description because there's so many different descriptions out there of her. I'd rather just base it on the pictures that I've seen. She's 5'8", approximately 130 pounds. She has bluish green eyes, very beautiful eyes. Very beautiful girl. Hair is like strawberry blonde. And then the Cocoinino Sheriff's Office, that's who you can call with any information, 928-774-4523. Or you can contact, me if it's a non-emergency at TitaniumBuilt@gmail.com. Or if you don't feel comfortable, maybe sharing with officers. She is with her pet bearded dragon named Roxy or Roz. And this is just, it's terrible. I don't, it's been almost 2 months. It's like, well, where is she? And when they first did the initial search, I think that the PIs maybe wished that they could have had more time to go out and expand the search a little bit further out. Now, I don't know if anyone's actually actively out there even searching for her at this point. I did ask SF earlier and he got back to me. I don't think he answered that part of the question. So maybe he doesn't know, or maybe he did answer it. I'll have to look at the message again. I heard that, the Jersey lady. I heard that there was another lady with a bearded dragon. That's why I'm like, well, maybe Arizona, because I mean, they're lizards and stuff, right? I mean, I know California has them. I'm not a reptile gal. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the clothes that were hanging, and I think we'll get those with the police report because I can't find the picture like online. I can only find it like it's like a picture of a picture. It's weird. But those were in fact her clothes. So there was a picture that came up online and it's a picture of a tree and it has like a dress, and then maybe like 2 dresses or a dress and a shirt. And that's like hanging from the tree, kind of in a way that you would purposely do it. It's not like haphazardly. It's not like thrown up there. And he said the SF said that when he got into her camera, he saw that she was taking pictures of these clothing, like maybe she was going to sell it or something, is what I was getting out of it. Like she was going to maybe put it on Pushmark and sell it. But the only thing is if she was going to do all that and she took all that time to take the clothes out of the bag, hang it up, get the lighting right, get the angle, take the picture, because I take a lot for my boutique. So it's hard to get a good picture of some clothes sometimes, and to do all that and then to leave the clothes there. That's what I don't get. Why would you leave the clothes there? Unless you're like setting all this up for, like, unless she just maybe wanted to really, really, really leave. That's the only thing. But it's like, it's not like she's running from her parents because they're on the other side of the country. Her sister lives in Arizona. She lives in California. I believe her sister lives in Arizona. So that's not like she was over there. Like she lived near her parents. If she wanted to leave the boyfriend, couldn't she? I mean, maybe she felt like she couldn't, but I would think that she would be able to do that. But maybe she didn't feel like she could leave him. And that's why she took the bearded dragon and she, left. Let me pull this up in a better, so I can present it to you better. That way you guys can see it. Let me see. Okay. Awesome. I was just making sure that it was up there. Okay. Oh no, I'm not getting the hoax vibe either with her. Not like a Carly Russell deal, She would have. I don't even know how to make this thing and spin this into like a Carly Russell situation, because like that woman was nuts. Exactly, Teresa. That's what I mean. I don't know why she would do that. Like, even if let's say she was like wanting to be away from her parents, all she'd have to do is just call the police department, say, hey, I'm a grown woman. I'm fine. I don't want to talk to him. I mean, that's it, really. I mean, after a certain age, you don't have to speak to your parents anymore. I mean, technically at 18, you don't have to. You think her parents would know if she was going off the grid? Yeah. I feel like I don't know what kind of relationship they had, but I feel like they had a decent relationship to where she would be able to at least tell them if she needed some time away. I know, Mindy. I was just I said something of Rachel Moore yesterday. I said, Vincent, I said, a case I really want an update in. I said that one. And Madalena Kojakari. I like a lot of updates in her case. I'd like to see that little girl be found. And now I can't find my presenter window. It like disappeared on me. Okay. So September 28th. I'm sorry. We're going to start September 27th. Actually, just kidding. Like, where am I at? I'm like, I'm not even on the right page. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So PJ's the boyfriend or the ex-boyfriend. She doesn't have like technically a boyfriend. PJ's the boyfriend / ex-boyfriend. Oh my gosh, Reba. Yeah, Teresa, I think I heard that too about the ex kind of having stalker like tendencies towards her. So, I mean, it's hard to put yourself in someone else's spot. Do you know what I mean? Because I have access to, like, if this was me, my sister-in-law is the domestic violence case manager. I mean, one phone call and whoever it was, they'd be in cuffs. I mean, like literally, she would be like, put everything to the side somehow to my, happened to my sister. So I can't really put myself in that position to be like, would I run or would I stay? Because I would just stay and, but maybe she felt like she couldn't stay and she had to leave. I just hope that she sees one of our streams, like the people that really care about the case and really, I mean, I think everyone cares about the case, but like people that are putting time in and they want to see her found. I just want someone to say, like, if someone if the police told me like, Tanya, we found her, she's fine, give it up, like stop it. I would be like, okay, officer, sir. But we're not getting any transparency in this case, it seems like, at all. We kind of said everything here. That's just her description. So September 24th, she leaves California. And I think this is my third timeline. So hopefully we don't have to update too much because I know a lot of new stuff's been coming out too. So we're going to kind of keep it the same until we maybe get the police reports. That's the way we know for sure. Chelsea leaves her place in San Diego to make the cross-country trip to her parents in Connecticut. She decided to drive instead of flying because she was unable to take her bearded dragon with her on the airplane. That's why I'm kind of thinking she inquired this bearded dragon like last minute, because I think she would know months in advance. Like if you normally buy your plane ticket a little bit in advance before in a big event like a wedding, where you have to go across the country, like you would have known that you couldn't take that bearded dragon on the plane with you, I would feel like. Yeah, why leave it behind? I would only get out of the car and leave my car behind to get a reception, like signal on my cell phone, so that I could call AAA, because her parents said she had AAA, or at least call my parents. Heck, call 911. I mean, shoot, if you're stranded out in the middle of nowhere, if you don't know where you're at, like you're scared, call the non-emergency line, but call somebody, I wouldn't walk around out there by myself. So September 27th, she meets up with a friend in Phoenix. Chelsea stops in Phoenix to meet up with a friend. We don't know who the friend is or why she decided to stop. She would have been on the road for only 5 hours and 25 minutes at that point. So from her house in San Diego to Phoenix, 5 hours, 25 minutes. Not too long to be on the road, but if you got a late start in the day, that would be a good time to stop and rest. On the same day, that was the last day she talks to her parents. She calls her parents on this day to tell them she doesn't think she's going to make it there to Connecticut on time for the wedding. So she's just going to, sorry, it was kind of cut off, but go back to San Diego after she was going to camp for a couple of days. So she was going to stop and camp and then go back out to her house. So she leaves on the 24th. And it takes her 3 days to figure out. Like she could have already been there. So it took her 3 days to figure out, like, nope. Like that's what starts to make, it's just like, what? It's like something switched in her head. Like something like I don't know, like a light bulb. And she was just like, okay, we're not doing this now. We're going to do this. We're not going to do this now. We're going to do this. Like everything was just switched. She was changing a lot. So September 27th, that's when she's seen at the hotel in Seligma. Chelsea Grimm is seen on surveillance camera at a hotel in Seligma. It's more of a motel. She is overheard saying that she wishes to stay off the grid and asked if they took euros because she didn't want to run her card. And let me go ahead, and I think I have that video up. So I'm going to get, sorry, my voice just like gave out. I'm going to try to get this from the officers. If not, I'm going to see if SF can give it to me because I think he has like the full video, or that he will put out like more of it. But basically what Chelsea's going to be saying in the video is she doesn't want the hotel to run her credit card because she's trying to stay off the grid because of an ex-boyfriend. So actually he puts it right here in context. He says, I will provide a little more context since many people are messaging that they can't understand what she's saying in the video. I messaged him and he messaged me back. That was nice. So it says, I understand it's easier for me since I have the full 4 minutes. Chelsea wants to rent a room. She initially puts down her credit card and then says, actually, that's why I don't think this is a great idea. She says she doesn't want to be tracked by the card or by using her name. She then asks if she can use euros. She actually has euros on her. There is a conversation about why she doesn't want to be tracked, and those details I can't disclose right now. She comes back about 2 hours later and has a conversation with a woman, and even more is disclosed. And the woman and this man are married. They're the owners of the property. Later that same afternoon, she appeared at another business. I also met with them today. This situation is very delicate. It's a balance between privacy and outreach to find Chelsea. So let me play this video. And I'll play it a few times too, so you guys can, so you guys can hear it. It's kind of fast. And if you guys can tell, I think that's the same purse. It looks like the same purse from where I'm sitting, but you can see the red bag like on the side of her. I wonder if this video she turns. I think so, maybe. And then we'll go back to the timeline.
That's why I actually don't think this is a very good idea. Okay, no problem. That's why I actually don't think this is a very good idea. Okay, no problem. That's why I actually don't think this is a very good idea. Okay, no problem.
So that's her, at the motel on the 27th. She appears to be sound, mind, and body. I mean, she seems to be okay. She wants to rent a room. Now, you tell me where you guys can do this anywhere nowadays. Anywhere. Where you can rent a room in the United States with cash. We're talking just cash in general. And not put your name down for it. Nowhere. I mean, where would she even think that though? Like, come on, Chelsea girl. Did she get that off a movie or something? Like, did she think really when she went in there, did she seriously think that would work though? Because you got to think about that for a minute. She went into this hotel, and I did hear from SF that she was in the parking lot. Before she walked in, she was sitting in the parking lot for 30 to 40 minutes. So maybe she was trying to work up the courage to be asking these kind of questions like, I don't want to put my name down, but can I get a room? I don't have a bearded dragon in my car that I'm going to take into my rented motel room because I'm sure that's probably not allowed. And it's just very strange. And then she wants to use euros. She wants to use cash. You have to have a credit card to put down in case you mess something up in the room so they can charge you for it. You think it's the same person? Me too, the Jersey lady. Me too. So she didn't pay for anything, Wist. She didn't end up getting a room. So she didn't get a room. She because she wanted to use euros. She wanted to use cash. I mean, even if it was US currency, they still wouldn't take that. It's just very, very strange. Yeah, she was still with her car. So she still had her car. The bearded dragon, I believe, is in the car right now because she's at this place. She probably just left the car on for him. They did question. Yeah. So they went in. SF talked to him and got this video. So that's why it's like a recording of a screen. But that's the husband. And then the wife, she talks to the wife later on. Yeah, euros. I'm like, wonder why she did the euros. Now, there are places around there, like the Grand Canyon. I mean, it's right there. So I guess international travelers could be there, but I just don't. If I were going to go off the grid, I would not think, let me exchange my US currency for euros. It's already hard enough to try to pay with cash places. Remember when we had that coins shortage? That was terrible. You couldn't have paid with cash anywhere. I don't know if that hit you hard where you live, but it hit us hard here. I couldn't get a roll of quarters to save my soul during that time. So Chelsea was at the motel for, I would say approximately, I'm not 100% on this, and we'll find out once I get the paperwork, police paperwork, and reports. But she was there in the car from between like 30 and 40 minutes before she walked in. And I think she was only inside maybe like 10, 20 minutes. if that, 10 minutes, probably just enough to talk. And that's her hat. Yeah, I assume that was. She probably did sleep in her car, Cheryl. I would assume. I mean, I would, but stuff doesn't really scare me like that. Like whenever the cop tells her to go to the Loves, parking lot, to stay there, like the trucker parking lot, to me that doesn't make me nervous. But I don't know. I'm not a real nervous person. I should probably be, but I'm not. Blind Squirrel, I think so. I think it is hers. It looks like her aesthetic, like her style. So we'll go back to the timeline again. We'll go back. So on September 28th, so the next day after this happens, I'm assuming she slept in her vehicle. I'm not sure. But September 28th, she's seen in the cemetery. Chelsea Grimm is seen on body camera interacting with an officer after he received a call of suspicious activity at a cemetery in Williams. In her interaction with the police, she is crying and she explains it's because of the dead soldiers that she was there taking pictures of. So I did look up the cemetery and they do have a memorial for the 4 soldiers in that actual cemetery, because at first I didn't really know if I believed the story about the pictures in the cemetery, because that's something like, and I don't know if I still believe it, but that is something that you would tell an officer. Like if you're trying to think of an excuse, why are you in a cemetery after dark? And it was at like 8:40 at night. It gets dark at like 6 o'clock. So she was there like long after dusk or dusk. Yeah. Whatever it is. Dusk. Yeah. So, I thought maybe she just went in there to like smoke or something, because the officer did ask her if she had been smoking. And she said, yeah, earlier today. So I thought maybe she pulled off and was like, I'm just going to smoke over here, get my little smoke on and then get back on the road. But something maybe happened there where she did get upset. Maybe she was crying because she got pulled over. Like she saw the cop behind her and she was just like, I got to do something. There's just so many questions. There's so many questions. Chelsea, if you're listening to us, please answer our questions and just come out of wherever you are. And if something did happen to her, we need to find her. Winter is coming. Like, either way, So then on September 30th, she talks to a woodcutter. A woodcutter claims he saw Chelsea camping in her car, and she appeared to be fine. And then that was September 30th. So then her parents don't hear from her. So October 4th, her parents decided, to report her missing. So when they haven't heard from their daughter in a week, they decided to get law enforcement involved. October 5th, the hunters find Chelsea's abandoned car. 2 hunters find her car abandoned on Forest Road 6 outside of Ashfork, Arizona. And then on October 5th, that's when the officers, they collect her car. They recover Chelsea's car. It has 2 flat tires, both on the passenger side. SF Investigates told us they weren't purposely deflated and they weren't slashed. When officers searched her car, they discovered her wallet, phone, sleeping bag, keys, and bearded dragon were all gone. So he thinks, and experts, I guess, have looked at the car and they've said that they believe that she probably hit, they're called like lava rocks. So just, rock formations that are out there, just like gravel rocks, is what it kind of reminds me of. But, and that's what got her the 2 on that side, because I was like, how would 2 on one side get deflated like that? And that's the only thing that I could come up with would be, like a rock or something of that nature. Woodcutter in the desert. Yeah. Isabel. There's actually trees out there. There's woods out there. Very weird. Yeah, we do, Holly. We just need to know she's okay. That's all. Well, Mindy, I heard there might be 2 woodcutters, but I'm going to wait till I get the police report because I don't want to put out that and it not be true. So I'm like, what is going on? Because there's not a lot of information on this case, but the information that's out there is getting like convoluted. I don't know. It's just like it's getting like conspiracy almost out there, I think. So we're just trying to figure out what's going on here. Oh, I thought I had this in full screen for you guys and I didn't. Sorry. We're almost done with it now. So this is Chelsea's travels. So the original trip leaving on September 24th was from San Diego to Connecticut. September 27th, she meets with a friend in Phoenix. So where she is from the 24th to the 27th, it's anyone's guess. The trip from San Diego to Phoenix is only 5 hours, 55 minutes. September 27th, she's seen on surveillance at a motel. And that is 2 hours and 55 minutes north of Phoenix. September 28th, the cop finds her in a cemetery in Williams, Arizona. That's 42 minutes from Slegaman. I can't say it right. Probably not saying it right, but I have to figure that out. Arizona, but it's back on her way to travel to Connecticut. So when she's seen in the in Arizona at the hotel or the motel, she's on her way back north. Like she went straight across. I had all of the intersection or the interstates wrote down that she would have taken. But she went like straight across and then she went up and then there's like a state route that you could take or interstate right there. And I think it's 44 or 40 and she could have hopped right onto that and then just continued on right over to Connecticut. But, unfortunately she didn't. So September 30th through October 5th, it is seen by hunters and or woodcutter and found by police at Forest Road 6 outside Ashfork, Arizona. And I said and or woodcutter at the time because we weren't sure. There was a few different people coming out saying that they had seen her and stuff. So I think they were making sure that it was, legit. So we'll watch the I have this video here. We watched. I think this is one of the first ones we watched, but it has the body cam like embedded in the video. So we'll watch this video, and it'll give you guys kind of if you haven't seen it yet, a better understanding of how she was doing the night that she encountered this officer. Do you guys believe she was there taking pictures of dead soldiers? I mean, as a photographer, I could see the art in it. But this late at night, you're not from the area. You're not supposed to be doing that. Like, you're supposed to be on the road, honey. You're supposed to be, you got places to go, people to see. People are getting married. And she's like literally just hanging out in the cemetery. Like, that's what I don't get that. I don't get that either. Like, what would even bring you to a cemetery? The only thing that brings you to a cemetery is death. Somebody dies. Or you want to see you want to go visit somebody. Like, really not all normal. I would never pick that place to be like, I'm going to go take pictures in a cemetery tonight. Like, I don't know. It's just very strange. It does. This mystery does need solved. Hopefully we'll get her name out there a little more. If you guys are watching on replay, if you guys could hashtag, Chelsea Grimm, hashtag it in the live chat. It might work. I don't know. Might work. Just get it out there for her name to be exposed. And her, she has to know that somebody's looking for her by now. It's 2 months. Like, at first I was like, maybe this girl don't even know, because her parents only did the one interview with one with Law and Crime, one with News Nation, but on the same day. I thought maybe she hadn't watched the news or anything, but this is going on too long. Did Chelsea own any other vehicles? Actually, blind squirrel, I'm glad that you brought that up. For some reason, I feel like she did. Let me listen to this. We'll listen to this again. Maybe I heard it in the News Nation thing, but why do I feel like I did hear that she owned a few different cars and she bought them? And like she had multiple. It wasn't like just one or two. It was like 2 or 3. Yes. So the Jersey lady, she did throw her SIM card out. Yep, she did. And I think it might be on that video, or no, it's on. I remember SF saying that it's on a video, or like she's talking about it. I think it might be in the video at the motel in the 4-minute version. See, Isabel, that's what I would think you would call like AAA. So she had AAA, which is like who you will call in the United States if you have any car troubles. Like, I love AAA. AAA's come and bailed me out more times than we could probably count on this live. But SF said out there the phone service isn't very good. So that would be the only thing for me to get out of the car. I wouldn't even get out of the car. If I could call AAA and stay in the comfort of my car, I would have stayed there if I was her. But when she left her vehicle, she took her phone, her wallet, her keys, obviously her purse because we saw it, her bearded dragon, and a sleeping bag. And obviously some clothes because we have pictures of the clothes now. So she took things with her. Now, I will say this, the picture of the clothes in the tree, these are summer dresses. It's not summer anymore. When she left on this road trip, if she did plan on leaving for a long time, because I heard her car was packed like pretty full, did she take winter clothes with her? Did she only take a bag for the wedding and, like something to wear for the wedding, a couple days before, a couple days after, whatever it was, and then that's it? Those are questions that I would love to know. Exactly like what was in her car. Is it like a standard girl car where you got shoes, purses, clothes, all the goods, Stanleys, you got them all, you got everything in there? Or is it like, not like a typical female and it's really nice and clean? Because I don't know about y'all, but I live in my cars usually. Roseanne said AAA worth every penny. Oh, it is. It is. Well, it gets warm during the day, but it gets cold at night. I'm pretty sure it gets colder there at night. I think we looked it up. Oh, I don't even want to look it up now, but it's probably even colder now. I have to look. So there's no activity, nothing that we know of. No activity on phones, no activity on bank cards. Now I'm wondering if she was. I have a whole we did like a whole thing of questions too. We need to do another live about all of our questions. What was I going to say? I can't even remember now. Camping at the Grand Canyon. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, she took her, that's what I don't get. She took her sleeping bag with her. I think it was kind of chilly though. Yeah, no activity on her cards, no activity on phone. I mean, you could, so that's what I was saying. I'm wondering if she was stashing away money, like before all this, if she was slowly taking money out of her bank account, $50 here, $100 here. That way it wasn't like a large sum of money. Like, oh yeah, she was definitely, on the run or something. But with her taking a trip, I mean, a larger sum of money being withdrawn might not alert anybody. It would alert me though, because I always use a card. So we'll watch over this video real quick. It's only 3 minutes long, but it'll give you an idea of how she was acting.
I'm okay. How are you? New body camera video tonight shows a Williams police officer making contact with 32-year-old Chelsea Grimm days before her car was found on a remote road without her in it. In the video, the officer says they got a call for suspicious activity near the cemetery in Williams, and he came to check on her. Chelsea appears to be upset and explains she was working on a photography project.
Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I just was doing a photo shoot of the lost soldiers and got a little emotional, so I was crying before I got back on the road.
Her disappearance, days after this video was recorded, has both family and authorities confused, searching high and low for tips as to where she went. Here's what we know so far. Chelsea planned to drive from her home in San Diego to Connecticut to meet her family for a wedding, but she told her family she was stopping to camp in Arizona instead. Investigators know on September 27th, she met a friend in Phoenix, then canceled lunch with that friend the next day. On September 28th, she surfaces in Williams and has that conversation with the officer, telling him she's planning to camp nearby.
Yeah, if it's okay with you if I hang out here for another 15.
Okay, so first she's supposed to go from Connecticut, or not Connecticut, sorry, California to Connecticut. Now I'm gonna have to go back because I was kind of getting mixed up. But
I hang out here. It's okay with
nearby, telling him she's planning to in Williams.
because she keeps like her mind keeps changing. That's what's weird about it. Okay, so she's supposed to be going cross country first by plane from San Diego to Connecticut. Then she changes her mind, switcheroo. I'm taking the bearded dragon. To me, that almost seems like a breakup happened, and she took the bearded dragon with her. Then she says, I'm going to drive to Connecticut with my bearded dragon. So she's driving straight there. Then she's stopping to meet a friend in Phoenix. But the next day, when she's supposed to meet back up with that friend, she cancels the plans. So there she is again. She's, supposed to meet a friend, cancels it. Then she goes towards the cemetery. That's when she's seen next. And the cemetery by the police officer. And then he asks her, like, kind of like, what you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm going to go camp somewhere for the night. So that's changing plan again. And he says, well, there's a Love's parking lot over there. It's just like, very strange. And then she decides to cut the trip completely out to Connecticut. And she's just going to camp now in Arizona and then go home. Like, I wouldn't want to go camp anywhere. I just want to go home. If I wasn't going to go to my set destination, I'd be like, I'm ready to go home. Maybe Stephanie, maybe she didn't have enough money to fly and didn't want her parents to know. Maybe. But I think that her parents set her up with the AAA and everything. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to play this again.
And has that conversation with the officer, telling him she's planning to camp nearby.
Yeah, if it's okay with you to,
Yeah.
if I hang out here for another like 15 or 20 and then head on the road, that would be my plan,
Sure.
I think.
Do you have like a hotel around here or anything?
I don't. I was actually thinking of just camping for the night, but I wasn't really sure exactly yet.
Gotcha.
I
Well,
didn't plan to be here till sunset.
the yellow lights over there, the Loves. It's a trucker stop in the gas station area. You can just sleep there. Nobody will bother you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that.
The sheriff's office says on September 30th, a woodcutter in an area near Ashfork, Arizona, sees Chelsea camping in her car, talks to her, and she says she's okay. But that's the last known contact she had with anyone.
We're trying our best to hold on to the positive outcome scenarios and put our faith in the authorities.
On October 4th, her parents report her missing. And on October 5th, hunters in the same rural area find her abandoned Ford Focus SUV in the middle of a dirt road with flat tires on the right side. It was locked, many of her belongings were found inside, but there was no trace of her, and all cell phone and credit card activity has since stopped. The Coconino County Sheriff's Office says while they don't suspect foul play at this point, they're trying to figure out if she got in another vehicle or if she hiked out. Either way, by the time they began investigating her disappearance, it had already been 5 days since the last time anyone saw her alive. The sheriff's office tells me they're actively working with her family and friends on any tips and leads. She also has a pet bearded dragon that is a good identifying factor and possible clue.
So 5 days already passed before, like, her parents knew to call the police. I don't know how close families would be or how not close you would be, because I mean, seriously, like, if I told my parents I was going to go camping somewhere by myself, my dad would have said hell no. First and foremost, he would have said no, you're not doing that. But if he couldn't stop me because I'm an adult and I wanted to do that, I wanted to go camping, I'm pretty sure my parents would call me like every day just to make sure that like I'm okay because I'm by myself. But maybe they didn't have like that kind of relationship. Maybe they were close, but they just didn't have that kind of relationship. I don't want to say anything, bad or anything. I just feel like why are her parents out doing more interviews? Are there no news like agencies that want to pick up the story? Are they seeing something we are not seeing, but Brian Enton's covering it? It's very, very strange. And this is the new like little interview that they did. It doesn't have a ton of new information, but it does have, I think, a little bit of stuff in here. But I thought that this would be really nice to play since this case is still really new to a lot of people. And And if you don't know anything about the case, you can't really have the good, solid updates if you don't know the backstory, of what's going on. So this is going to cover all of that. This came out a couple of days ago, and I watched it earlier today. So we'll watch it again together. And it's, I think her name's, I forget her name, but she's with Brian Enton. She's going to interview with him. My dad would have come pick me up. Yeah, Stephanie, mine too. My dad, I lived in a town, and it was just a small town, and anything past, there was not a bad spot in this town. Now that I'm looking back on it, it probably wasn't even that bad. But my dad he would tell me never go past 6th Street. And I never did. And I still haven't. That's so bad. I still have not in that town. And I grew up in that town for I don't know, 20 some years. He said, don't do it. And I said, okay. Is it Grace Marty? Is it Marty? That's Marty. I thought I was going to say Marty. And I was thinking the other girl that is in the mornings with the brown hair, she's like brownish red, beautiful girl. I thought her name was Marty. In my head, I'm going, no, that's Marty. It is Marty. You're right. You're right. I should have said it. I should have went with my gut instinct.
I'm Marnie Hughes, and this is Missing. Each week, we bring you a missing persons case from across the country. Men and women, young and old, different races, backgrounds, and stories, all in the hopes of finding them, uncovering clues, and helping families and friends get answers and closure. This week, we have some new clues in the disappearance of a young woman who vanished while on a cross-country adventure. It's been nearly 2 months since Chelsea Grimm set off from California on a road trip heading to the East Coast. Chelsea was on her way to a friend's wedding, and at one point she called her parents saying that she was instead going to head home. And that's when the trail goes cold.
Chelsea Grimm set off from San Diego on a cross-country road trip on September 24th. She was going to a wedding in Connecticut. Working as an artist and photographer, Chelsea planned to document her 2,800-mile road trip through photos.
She was spontaneous. She changed plans a lot. The magnitude of this adventure, quote unquote, of driving across the country was a lot, even for Chelsea.
Chelsea had first planned on flying to Connecticut, but decided to drive to accommodate her new pet bearded dragon, Roz. 3 days into the trip, her parents said she called and said she didn't think she could do the trip by herself and was going to camp for a few days instead before coming home. She arrived in Phoenix and met up with her sister as well as a friend. She was supposed to meet that same friend for lunch the next day, but canceled, arriving in Williams, Arizona instead. Chelsea was parked near a graveyard and war memorial when she was stopped by a police officer responding to a call.
You doing all right?
Yeah, I just was doing a photo shoot of the lost soldiers. I got a little emotional, so I was crying before I got back on the road. I was actually thinking of just camping for the night, but I wasn't really sure exactly yet.
Gotcha.
I didn't plan to be here till sunset.
Okay. Just hang out here however long you want. You're good to go.
Her parents said Chelsea's response in that call did not seem out of the ordinary.
One thing that seemed very in the ordinary or in character was how I think she said, I appreciate your compassion or something like that. That sounded 110% like Chelsea.
The officer in that stop suggested safe places for Chelsea to camp for the night. She was spotted again by a woodcutter on September 30th, camping in her car near Ashfork, Arizona. Chelsea had told her parents she may not have phone service while she was camping, but after not hearing from her for several days, her parents reported her missing on October 4th. Just 1 day later, her SUV, a white Ford Focus, was found abandoned on the side of the road with 2 flat tires.
She seemed to have left that car of her own volition in an organized way. It was locked. She had taken her wallet and we think her phone and her sleeping bag, among other things, along with the bearded dragon.
Authorities have notified police in other states to be on the lookout for Chelsea. Her family's also hired a private investigator.
There was 2 flat tires, was out on a dirt road. How far was the body cam video where she was talked to by the police there to where the car was found? Did somebody interact with her and then they drove down that road?
Her parents telling News Nation's Brian Enton they were
I'm going to pause that for just a second because I wanted to show you the actual area where her vehicle was found. That way you guys we'll have a little bit of better understanding. I don't know if you just heard that, but the dog just laid on the bed and she hit the wall. But I'll find it real quick. There it is. Okay. That way you guys will have a little bit of a better understanding of where she was. Okay, that's not the one I'm looking for. It's this one. I want to make sure I pull up there. Yeah, okay. So let me do this instead. And then I'm going to put it on like playback of 1.75. So because this is all just flat land right here, but he's using a drone. So here in a second, you'll see like a truck and then another vehicle. So where the truck is parked, that's going to be where her car was placed in the road when they found her vehicle. It's very, very cool what they can do nowadays with drones. Because, like, I mean, seriously. And that he actually has the software that'll pick up people and it'll like circle them. I'm like, that's pretty nifty. Yes, Wiz, desert disappearances. Yeah, very scary. Like, do you guys remember the Trinity Backus back after Kylie Rodney's case? She was the girl. It was like she was supposedly like, you know, she had taken something and then she had ran out of the house and she ended up like dying and passing away in the woods. And it was all accidental, they said, but there were people there that were older and they should have probably prevented that, but we won't get into that. But yeah, she just like ran out in the woods one night and for like 2 weeks or something. It was a long time she was gone. We covered that for a while. You did, Arlene? I didn't know you worked as an ER nurse in the Philly. Oh, in a Philly emergency room? Then, man, you probably saw some stuff and heard some stuff too. This doesn't where was that woodcutter? I know. I said that I think on the last live. I was like, why? What is? I wonder what is a woodcutter per se? Is he just out there cutting wood to sell as logs, or is he out there like? Is he a guy that shapes wood? I really don't know what a woodcutter is. I need to look that up. But where the truck is right here, let me see if I can pause that real quick. That's going to be like, or I'm sorry, not the truck. No, the truck. Yeah, that's where they found her vehicle. Let me go back here. Let me actually, I think I lied to you guys. It's more where, like where SF is standing, if you can see the person standing there. Let me see if I can get it to go in a little bit. So right here. Oops. Well, you know, that kind of sucks, but I don't want it to cut off. Well, now it's just going to be slow. What's going on? Probably me. Okay, this is taking forever. So that's okay. We didn't need to see it that close, but you guys got the gist. So it was in the middle of the two cars where they found her. So she was halfway off of the road, it looks like. Yeah, very desolate and scary. Yeah. I don't even know why you would go there. Now, unless again, she was stopping. I'm just thinking because she's a smoker. We know she's a smoker. You know, of the marijuana, because she says on the phone with the cop, she says like, yeah, like he asked, have you been smoking or something like that? And she says, yeah, like earlier today, which earlier means I just did 5 minutes ago before, or right when you pulled up, I was putting it out. Like that's usually what that means. So maybe she was pulling off into those areas to get out of the way to like, just smoke or something. Because you can't really smoke and drive with a bearded dragon on your chest, because the dragon usually, they said, like was on her like chest. Did her phone have a tracker? It would have, but her phone was just turned off and never used again. Now, if she has it with her, so if she plugs it in to like charge it, it'll turn back on automatically. You know how like phones do that, and it may send a ping if they're, I guess maybe watching it, but maybe they have some sort of something in there in the database, and if it pings, it'll send an alert. What was she doing in the desert? Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, you would need water. Good point, Wes. Good point. She really didn't take anything like that. It seems like she just took her, phone, wallet, keys. It seems like she took the necessities, like just to get her kind of out of there, or to a spot where she could get better reception. That's the only thing that would get me out of my vehicle. But we'll go back over here to the News Nation and we'll listen to that. I can't believe that little candle is still going. I've been burning this thing all day trying to get this thing to burn out. So I can light the other one. And then this will be from the interview the first time. So anything that you see with that background was the only interview that they did. Her parents, I'm talking about. And her mom reminds me of the Home Alone lady. She really does.
Hanging on to hope that someone would recognize her with her pet dragon.
The chances of people recognizing Chelsea are at least sort of connecting the dots. If they see somebody with a bearded dragon, they're going to take an extra look at that person.
And as we cover this case, now is the opportunity that if you have questions or comments, I encourage you to post them and we'll do our best to answer them. Joining me now to talk more about Chelsea's disappearance, News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Enton. Brian, good to see you. I was glad to see that you were covering this case. You spoke with Chelsea's parents. You spoke with the private investigator. This is a real mystery, and there's some peculiar clues, starting with the timeline of events. I mean, you've got a young woman who was adventurous, who was excited about this cross-country trip, and then she decided to turn around. What did you take away from your discussion with her parents as to what was happening with her in the days leading up to her disappearance?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Marnie. They didn't seem to express that she was having any kind of like mental health issues that they knew of. I think they felt like her trip, the fact that she was going to drive all the way across the country when she told them that she wasn't able to fly because of the bearded dragon. And I think they thought that was like, I don't know that that's such a good idea. It's kind of like, it's a long way. I don't think you realize what you're getting yourself into. And I don't think they were that surprised when she said she was going to turn around, because they told me they were sort of already thinking like, there's no way, it's just such a long drive. But there weren't really any red flags. I don't think that they noticed, at least that they told me before her disappearance. And that's one of the things that's so frustrating about this case, I think, is that there's really not that many clues. I mean, the car was found, the 2 flat tires, the fact that her cell phone and wallet were not there, I think is hopefully a good sign, because, we've covered so many of these other kinds of stories where the cell phone and wallet are found, with the car. And I don't know, that always strikes me as it makes me more worried, thinking like, who would leave their cell phone and wallet behind? So perhaps she did take off on her own with her wallet and maybe have some kind of mental health issue that her parents just weren't aware of. We really just don't know at this point.
Right. Yeah. You think if somebody has the wherewithal to take those important things that none of us leave home without, that they weren't taken, right? It wasn't some sort of altercation that she left them behind. I want to play another portion of your interview with the parents. This is Janet Grimm, Chelsea's mom, talking about sort of the timeline of events that led them to report Chelsea missing. Let's play that.
We last talked to Chelsea on the 27th in the afternoon, and she said, I'm going to camp for a couple of days, and so I'm going to be probably where I'm not going to have cell service. And so for a couple of days, we didn't even think about it again, because she had told us she would be offline, and we knew she was in in Arizona, where there are spots where it's not particularly good for communication. So it was after a couple more days after that we started thinking, this is too long for a camping trip, and she should be back. She should be somewhere where she can get in touch. And so on the 4th of October, we reported her missing, and on the 5th, they found her car.
Brian, leading up to finding her car on the 5th, Chelsea met with a friend. I believe she met with a sister. What did her parents say about those encounters, those interactions with people that she knew in the area?
Yeah, that was one of the things that I asked about, was like, did her friend express any kind of concern that she was acting weird, and the parents said no. And I asked to get in touch with the friend, and that never happened. It would have been nice to talk to the friend, one-on-one. But the parents said that the friend didn't have any concerns, didn't say that Chelsea was acting weird at all. The part of the story that I've also sort of thought is interesting, where they said that Chelsea, in the days leading up to her disappearance, tried to pay for something with euros instead of US dollars. Again, just made me wonder if maybe, she was having some kind of mental health issue, and maybe just wanted to go off the grid. It's now been quite a long time. You'd think she would have popped up by now, but even though the parents said the friend didn't have any information that she was acting strange, there were some other reports of some kind of strange behavior.
Yeah. I've got a question here. This is from Flipside Fishin' on YouTube. Thank you for watching and for your question. Did they say what caused the flat tire? As you talked to the private investigator, do we know? And she had 2 flat tires.
No, they didn't say, just that it was 2 flat tires. And I'm just looking back at my notes. I think they were on the right side. So it was 2 flat tires on the right side. The cell phone, wallet, and sleeping bag were gone. There are a couple of, or at least one other private investigator that's gotten involved in the case, from what I'm told, in addition to the one that I initially spoke to. And from what I've been told, the police have been giving information to the private investigators, information that isn't necessarily public. So it seems like the police are open to outsiders trying to help with the case. They've just released such minimal information to us. And the question about what caused the flat tires, they may know, but they haven't told us.
Yeah. Well, it's a good sign they're working with private investigators. Oftentimes they don't. They'd like to go on their own. Good question from our viewer there. I have another question from Jay Ballou on YouTube. They're asking about phone pings and maybe she took a ride from someone. There's always digital evidence if she took her phone. Has that led to anything promising?
That's another really good question. I would imagine police have been looking into that. But again, it's not something that they've released to us or that the private investigators have said anything about.
Okay. The pet bearded dragon, I had to look these up just to remind myself what they look like. It's a big lizard. It's very colorful. Was this a new pet of hers? And this could be a major clue in spotting her, at least according to her parents.
It was relatively new. I don't think she was aware that she couldn't fly with the bearded dragon initially, which is why I think her plan was to fly, and then she switched to driving because she didn't think she could fly with the bearded dragon. It is an important clue because in addition to her wallet, car, and the sleeping bag and cell phone not being with the car, the bearded dragon was also not there. So if she did take off on her own, this bearded dragon was apparently very, very important to her. That's why she was driving across the country. It would make sense that she would take the bearded dragon with her. So if people think they may see her, you may spot like a bearded dragon on her shoulder, or she may be carrying the bearded dragon. And one thing that was interesting to me with this, Marnie, is when we first did the story, when I interviewed the parents, a lot of people have bearded dragons, especially on Twitter, that really caught people's attention. I was happy to see that because I think it's a part of the story that people are interested in. I think helped sort of push it along, more eyeballs out there, hopefully.
Well, certainly. If you put somebody who looks like Chelsea together with this bearded dragon, this big lizard, I think it's going to be a major point for people to keep an eye out for. She also had a tattoo. Where was the tattoo? Do we know what the tattoo is?
It's a good question. I have to go back and look. I don't. I know that. I think that's a picture of it there. You can see it on her wrist. I don't know exactly what it's of,
okay,
but it's sort of on the inside part of her wrist. So that's something else that I guess Ivy. Actually, I'm looking at your notes there.
Yeah, it looks like a vine with ivy. Yeah, when leaves kind of wrapped around her wrist. What about?
Yeah, so that's also something that people would hopefully notice.
Yeah, distinguishable. What about her past? Was traveling cross country, road trips, camping something that she often did? What did her parents say about that?
I don't think she had been on a road trip to this extreme, but her parents did say that she was very, very adventurous. And so it wasn't like uncommon that she was going to camp out or that she was kind of doing this, like that she sprung this on them, that she was going to drive with the bearded dragon. They said she had this adventurous spirit. And that's another reason, initially they didn't report her missing right away because they thought, well, she might be camping out in an area where there's no cell phone service. And we've seen this in other cases that we've covered. It's like with young people, they go on these road trips and, the parents don't just automatically jump to conclusions that the worst has happened. I mean, you give it a little bit of time to see, maybe she'll pop into cell range, shoot me a text. So they were not initially that worried. But then at some point they were like, it's unlike her to go off the grid for this long. And then it was the next day that her SUV was found with the flat tires. So, that's when they really, really got worried. And I really felt for those parents just because you can imagine what they're going through. I mean, not knowing is just awful. And they're just hoping that she, even though they don't suspect she was having any kind of mental health issues, they're hoping that she just, took off on her own and is hiding out somewhere. They don't want to think the worst in terms of like someone abducting her or the possibility of her taking her own life, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no. And I think some of the things that she took with her gives, I would imagine, the family hope. And for all of the families of missing loved ones that we talk to on a regular basis, it's the not knowing, right, that is the worst. It's now been more than a month since they reported her missing. I want to play, Brian, a portion of that body cam video when she encountered the officer. This was near that cemetery where she was taking some photographs. Here's a part of that.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I just was doing a photo shoot of the lost soldiers and got a little emotional, so I was crying before I got back on the road. I was actually thinking of just camping for the night, but I wasn't really sure exactly yet.
Gotcha. Well,
I didn't plan to be here till sunset.
Okay. Just hang out here however long you want, and you're good to go.
Awesome.
It's a pretty non-eventful encounter right there, nothing out of the ordinary, but her parents watched that. What'd they tell you about that engagement with the officer?
Agreed with
Marty, nothing out of the ordinary. The girl's in a cemetery taking pictures at 8:40 at night. What do you mean nothing out of the ordinary? To me, that's out of the ordinary.
what you're saying. They didn't
Especially if you're supposed to be trucking it across country to get to a wedding.
pick up on anything out of the ordinary. They said it sounded just like her. They actually sort of smiled and they told me, how polite she was with the officer and compassionate, that was like her personality to a T. So again, something that kind of frustrated them. It's like, here's another piece of video, a piece of information that came out, but it really, to them, didn't really lead to any clues about what may have happened. It didn't strike them as odd at all, the way she was talking, and she didn't sound especially upset. It seemed just like her, they said.
It was also, it caught my attention, she encountered a woodcutter at some point, and this area of Arizona, it's sort of near, I'm looking at a map, Coconino County is north of Sedona, north of Prescott, pretty north of Phoenix. This woodcutter, I'm assuming that means like a lumberjack. I don't know what a woodcutter exactly is, but what was the encounter with this person? Who were they? Anything strange about that for the family?
So it's actually not uncommon, I've learned, for like woodcutters to be working in that area. It is kind of like a lumberjack. And I've learned, at least there's reports that now that it wasn't just one woodcutter, there may have been other woodcutters that also saw her. And again, sort of in a frustrating way, they didn't have any information, at least that we know of, that really helped figure out what happened to her. Just the fact that they saw her camping with her SUV there. It was near Ashford, Arizona. That was around September 30th when the report from the one woodcutter came in. I don't know the exact time frame for the other woodcutters who saw her, but I think she probably kind of stood out in that area. I don't think that there were other people camping around. So I think when they saw her, camping gear and her SUV there, it's something that they remembered and then were able to report to the police.
Have police, the family, the private investigator searched on foot? Have they taken dogs out to the area where her car was seen?
Yeah, they have been out there. I'm not sure about dogs, but I know at least 2 of the private investigators have been out there, have been interviewing people. That's how we found out that there was more than one woodcutter who spotted her. But there hasn't really been any significant information to come from that, at least that they're releasing. Again, I know that the police have been open to at least one of the private investigators and providing some information to them that isn't necessarily public. So there could be more behind the scenes. But I think if there was something really important that could help push the investigation forward, I would hope the police would have released it by now. And they've just been really, really quiet about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. One thing, Brian, I listened to your interview with the private investigator, and when the 2 of you talked, he indicated that they had uncovered some clues, but he wasn't able to share at that time specifically what those may be. Has anything come of that in the last few weeks? Any update on that front?
No specifics with the new clues. Some of that, I think, was the fact that there were other woodcutters who had seen her. It wasn't just the one, because police released that it was just one initially. But that was really the extent of the new information that we've been able to get. I know that they've been talking to other friends of hers, trying to get a handle more on, what she may have been going through in that moment. I mean, you know how it is with your parents. Like, you sometimes put on, when you talk to your parents, you try to make it seem like everything's okay sometimes when maybe it's not. And you may, be telling friends some more personal things that you don't want your parents to worry about. So I know that they've been really trying to dig in deep into other people who had talked to Chelsea. But again, none of that has been released at this point, which is kind of what's been frustrating about covering the story. It's like you want, new nuggets to come out to kind of help push the story forward. And it's just kind of been quiet.
There just haven't been. I would think they would probably be looking into like cameras at gas stations in the area. I mean, do we know much about this area? Is it pretty desolate?
It is pretty desolate. There are a couple of gas stations. I was looking at Google Earth, so they're certainly looking at cameras. And like, one thing that I keep thinking about, I mean, police haven't said that they believe there's foul play, which, in other cases they will come out and say that if there's something that they come across. They haven't said that in this case. So I just keep going back to, I think the hope is, and this has happened before, where people have some kind of breakdown and, just sort of disappear for a while. And that's certainly possible in this case. I think that's probably what her parents are clinging on to. But I'm glad we're still doing the story because, just because there's not some crazy sign of foul play doesn't mean that it's not an important story, and that, there might not be there still could be something nefarious that happened here. We just don't know.
Right. And sometimes you have people come forward. I mean, they're adults who go off the grid for their own reasons and will contact law enforcement and say, am I okay? That hasn't happened in this case, which leads her parents to believe that something else has happened, and they're holding out that hope. The Cocoinino County Sheriff's Department is the one to call, and we've got that number. Finally, Brian, how's her family seem to be doing? And it's been a couple of weeks since you spoke with them. We're now more than a month since she was reported missing. How did they seem, their level of concern right now, just in regards to everything they're facing?
I think, like with other families in this situation, they're clinging on to hope. I mean, every day that she's not found is harder in some ways, but then you still have the hope that, that she's going to be found alive. And you made a really good point. Like, in other situations where people have just wanted to go off the grid, sometimes they'll want to stay off the grid, but they will just like show up to a local police department somewhere just to sort of like let people know, since they know that their story's been on the news. And this one thing that is good is, not a lot of other, I don't really know of any other. Actually, there was one other, I think we're the only network that's really covered the story. There was one other story I saw on one other network quickly, I think because of the bearded dragon, it got some attention. But the good news is it does appear to be like gaining a lot of attention online with a lot of the people that follow the missing stories and the cyber sleuths and that kind of thing. I've seen a lot on Twitter, so I think that also gives the parents hope that it's not like everybody's just forgetting about Chelsea and going to stop looking for her. So every time someone shares it online or we do the story, I think that obviously helps the parents out.
Yeah, it's why we do this. You can see Chelsea's picture on the screen. We'll have this on our website, newsnationnow.com. Brian Enton, thank you as always. It's good to see you. I'm glad that we're covering this case together and keep us posted. I know you're in touch with the private investigator. And for folks who are watching and listening, if you have any information that can help in the search for Chelsea, you can contact the Coconino County Sheriff's Office. It's in Arizona, 928-774-4523. And so many of our missing cases come from you. It's important.
Okay. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Jersey Lady. They have him on surveillance. Yeah, they're keeping an eye on him. I guess he can't really be the person that did this if they're keeping an eye on him for another incident that he was related to. So if this was drug related, I was thinking about this. Unless she's getting help for herself and she's clean, she would have already returned. She would have already ran out of money. She would have already ran out of drugs. You know what I mean? 2 months. She wasn't like she was, I don't think she was working like full time when she went missing. We don't know exactly what she was doing. She did get her degree in counseling, but we don't know if she was working in that field. We know she was doing photography to have an income, but living in California is hella expensive. So I don't know how she was maintaining that, which is none of my business, girlfriend. You do you, boo. But we just want to help find you. So I'm going to put in the request for the like police records and all that stuff. I know there's a few different counties, so I'll start with Coconino. We'll just start with the biggest one that she's been in the most. So I'm wondering why she had the euros too, West. I'm wondering if she went to the airport and exchanged out like U.S. currency for those. Now, for you to do, I don't even know what kind of level of hiding that you would want to, like that you would be doing to try to go from U.S. currency to euros, but use those euros in the United States. Like, it really doesn't make much sense. It's very, very strange. Maybe PJ will watch this show and he'll want to come on my panel because we do open this panel up for missing persons cases. That's something we do over here. I think for December, I was thinking about this earlier today. We have a ton of missing people just in general around the world, like especially in the United States, especially kids. So last year we had a set of twins during Christmas that were stolen. They were kidnapped. I mean, like it's hard to tell the story, but it's not hard, but the mother was door dashing and she had her baby boy twins with her, Kason and Kyler. And she was picking up a pizza in Columbus, Ohio at a Donato's, I believe. She was door dashing, trying to make some money for her and her babies. She ran in to grab the food. When she come to, just grab the pizza, run back out, it was so cold last winter in Ohio. It was beyond our worst year. Like, I don't know if we ever had a year that was that cold. It was -35, -38 one day. And she probably didn't want to wake her little boys up. They was probably sleeping. She probably ran in to get it. When she came out, someone had stolen the vehicle along with her boys. So I was out for I don't know, they were missing for a few days, 3 or 4 days, 5 days. So I was out every day putting out flyers. Like, I just couldn't stand being at home knowing that those little boys were so close to me. Maybe I'm in Ohio. Especially when I found out that the girl that stole the car was heading to where she was from, which is like another town over from me. So I was like, I know where I'm going. So I think for this year, since they did find the little boys, unfortunately, one of the little boys ended up passing away from SIDS shortly after. But that story just, when it's starting to get towards Christmas now, I've been thinking of those boys. So I think what I'm going to do is every day for December, If I can't do every day, because that's a lot, but we're going to try. If I can't do every day on the live, we'll do it once a week. But once a week or once, every other day, we're going to do showcase like different missing persons. So anybody that, if you have anybody that's missing that you want to send me any info for, it doesn't matter how long they've been missing for, if it's old, cold, whatever. We're going to do them all. But especially for, the ones that really need the coverage. And thank you so much, Teresa, for the $5 super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you. Mm-hmm. That'll go to the treat fund tonight, because Rocky was working it back there on that blanket for a minute. Now I got to fold up my blanket, which I think it's going to put white stuff all over my chair. I'm going to be so mad. Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, Ivy. How are you doing? I thought I heard that too, the Jersey lady, that she had been to Europe. So I'm wondering if she just happened to have that currency in there. The room wasn't that expensive. Deborah said that sounds wonderful. Yeah, they'll love that. They'll love it. But I think that's all I have for you guys. Now, I'm hoping we will get an update in Chelsea's case, of course, but also in Rachel Morin's case. That's another one. We need an update. We also need a little update for Madalena Kojkari. We're coming up on a year, and that little girl's still not found yet. I cannot believe I'll be covering this case for a year in November 21st. Oh my gosh, that's Tuesday. Oh, shoot, that's coming up. I thought that was next week for some reason. Oh, man. Well, I'm glad that you like it over here. We have a really good chat in here. We really do. I really appreciate all of you guys so much. You guys, I don't know. I've been watching lives, and it seems like lately creators are kind of short-tempered, and I just kind of feel for the chat. So I try to make it an enjoyable experience as much as I can, Nancy, you've watched her a lot lately. Yeah, Wes, we were watching Nancy. Nancy. Look at her back there, shining bright like a diamond. Shining bright. So we will do a live tomorrow. I'm such a day behind now since Vincent stayed home from work yesterday. Or not, he worked from home. So tomorrow we'll do a live. I'm not sure what we're going to cover because I really don't. Usually I know the night before. And tonight I really don't know. I think we have little small updates that we could do. So we'll do those tomorrow, because I know that there was a couple for Sarah Boone. We need to do a live on Sarah Boone. Maybe we'll do a live on Sarah Boone tomorrow, because I don't know about y'all, but that woman can make me laugh, if anything. I mean, I feel so bad for, Jorge, her boyfriend, of course, that died because of her, but she's just a character. She's just a cast of characters in her own right. I mean, from the time that she called the ex-husband before the cops till the time that the cops showed up and she's drinking out of the water spigot on the outside of the house. She is hungover. So, oh, thank you, Teresa. I know I'm really worried about her too. I think about Chelsea every single day. I'm like, come on, girl. Because let's say if she is, let's say that she went out there, she took her sleeping bag, her cigs, her dragon, and she was like, I'm just going to camp outside, and I'm going to, let's say, this is all hypothetical, and I'm going to do some drugs. And let's say she had a bad trip. You would think they would find her. But if they haven't found her by now, we need to find her, because winter is coming. Either way, she needs to be found, because she's literally somewhere. You don't just disappear. You don't just disappear. If I ever disappear, come find me. I would actually want you guys all to be on my case. That's who I would want. Yeah, Vincent, I know who I said, because I said something the other night. I was like, if I ever go missing, please don't let this person find me. Ivy, send it to me. 20 years? But yeah. You were a 7-year-old child. His name was Rolando. Let me write that. Rolando. I like that name. Salas? That one actually looks like a name I can pronounce too. I can't do the rolling. Well, thank you. I got this at Maurice's, actually. It was, I think it's like actually like it's a bigger size. It's like I think it's a 2X or 3X. I got it oversized. I'm like a medium, and I like them big. I steal Vincent's shirts from him every year. We have a deal. We have like a deal that we have. He has to buy a new shirt for every holiday because, like, he only dresses up once a year, and he can buy any shirt that he wants, which is usually like a flannel, but I get to keep it afterwards. Hey, is it Avamus? Avamus. I can't ever say it. I always feel like I'm saying it right. Summer Wells. Oh, and I just saw another one. Dylan Rounds is. Oh, I covered that one. I covered that. That's a side case. You disappeared early this week. I took a couple of days off this week, but I did have a couple lives the last few nights. It does. It feels like Christmas. So I don't make them, Deborah. I don't make them myself, but they are handmade. They're and it's a women-owned boutique that I get them from. So it's like a vendor, but they're like a boutique vendor. I have one that is apple pie, and it smells so good. And it would come in the strength candle. So like this one here. And then we do have Christmas candles available. I'm not sure if I have the apple pie in the Christmas one, but it's on my website, and I'll put my website in the chat. But they last for over 100 hours of burn time, and they're only $20. I'm telling you, you're not going to need another candle for the whole winter. This thing will last you. That's what I was going to say, Janet Monkey. That's whenever I was reading the names off of the kids. Why don't we cover let's go back and do those. What was the other one? I'm missing one. Summer. Now, I might not be able to do like a super deep dive on Summer Wells, but we could at least give that little girl something. It's been a while since we've covered her over here. I really want to get deep and down into that case, but it's so crazy and it's so much, You're welcome. Let me put my little boutique thing in here. If you use the code YouTube20, all capitalized, it'll take 20% off your order. You should pop up. I love candles too. I have smaller ones as well. They're shorter, and they have 60 hours of burn time. We tested them out too. Vincent was like, he's like, we're testing them. So, yep. So strength. Yep. And it smells so good. The apple pie. I like cinnamon stuff, like cinnamon kind of like, I like strong smells. So if you're looking for a strong smell, if you don't know what to get, just type it somewhere and say strong, strong, strong smell. And I will pick out the best candle that I could find with the strongest smell, because your girl has 2 dogs and a cat. It gets smelly in here, So I'm always trying to get some good smelly candles. Oh, thanks, Brian. He said, I'm glad you're getting the spotlight on Chelsea. This case needs to be talked about. Yes. I put a ton of work and won't stop until Chelsea comes home. Oh, that's so sweet. He's put in a lot of work in this case. Lots and lots. Lots and lots. Perfect. That's what I want. She said 10%. That's how I am. I don't like whenever I go somewhere and get a candle and I can't smell it afterwards. Like when you light it, I'm like, what is this crap? But thank you, Brian, so much. Yeah, he's done a lot of coverage on Chelsea Grimm. I don't even know how many videos, but a lot. A whole lot. I'm trying to think. I don't even know how many I haven't done that many, but we've done probably 5, maybe 4 or 5. Last time, wow, what have we been doing? I only took 2 days off. It was November 2nd the last time we covered it. It seems like Richard Allen, Caitlin Armstrong went on trial. And then Idaho 4 had the 1-year anniversary. Rex Heuermann. And now we're back. And then I did the other night on Thursday, I did a new series. It was called True Crime Updates. I don't know if you guys got to see that one, but it's out there if you guys want to check it out. And I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you. since October 14th. Wow. Man. It doesn't feel like it's even been that long. Whenever I was checking I was going over my timeline before the live, I was like, what? I was like looking at the calendar. I'm like, what month are we in? It doesn't feel like it's been that long. I can see you, Mystic. If there's anybody that ever has a problem in the chat and you can't see yourself or you don't think you could be seen, email me. Make sure I didn't do anything crazy. I don't, because me and Jan don't normally walk, and Isabel don't normally do that either. So, what is your little Mystic? What's your little emoji thing? Oh, it's a cup. I didn't know what it was. It's pretty, or it's like a vase. It's like a vase or a mug or a cup. Yeah, if you guys want to get any more, listen to any more coverage on Chelsea Grimm, I highly suggest Brian over at Let's Talk Live. He's got the police reports now, and he's been going through them. I was listening to him and SF's Investigates interview earlier today, actually. It was very informative. Because Brian got some stuff out of, like, questions answered that I didn't get answered when I was talking to him through, like, messages. So I was really excited. Because if it wasn't for YouTube and SF, I don't think Chelsea's case would really be out there. I don't even think that Law and Crime or News Nation, they might not even got that one interview with her parents. So, wow, that's a lot, but it's beautiful. It looks like a lady dancing on there. Is that what she's doing? She looks like she's dancing or something. Oh, wait. What is it before I try to make a fool of myself and try to see? Like, that's what I see. I see like somebody dancing, but it looks beautiful. You're probably like, that is not. It's a butterfly or something. I've got vision in one eye. Yeah, Doodlebug, you did. I know. I need to go through those. I saw that he had a lot of stuff I was going to read through, and then I was like, I was so busy today. I don't even know where the day went. This is what happens. As I was unmaking the bed today to wash the sheets, I'm like, my chat probably doesn't believe me when I say I wash these blankets every single day. But it's true. It's like really true. Yes. Yeah. Do that, West. Yeah. Because he has a lot of good information on this case. I'm going to have to pick his brain because that's a lot of reading. I don't know how many pages it is. I think it's over 100. Like 150 or something, which I guess is not that long. I mean, not that bad. We did 136 for Delphi, so. Oh, it's pretty. That's what you thought too? Well, that's so funny. I think it's a pretty cup. I was just trying to read the chat a little bit. Fear Thy Neighbor is a good show, Cheryl. That show is a little scary, though. You know what I mean? I think we talked about that on the show, on the channel not too long ago. I mean, it's been a little while, but I forget why. Oh, Miss Ma'am said, you just said you only have one eye. Were you born like that, or did you have something like an accident happen? Accident. Yep. If you don't mind answering, of course, I don't mean, oh, no. So you're fine. I'm actually going to do like a full live, I think, over just like a few different things like that have gone on because, you know, I'm an open book. But I was in a car accident. Yeah, I was in a car accident in 2014. And I was passenger in a car and I was just riding home. Hadn't been out in 6 months and went out for a couple drinks. First time in 6 months. Regretted that decision. I don't regret the decision to go out. I don't regret any decisions I made because I make that. I don't know, every decision you make in your life, if you think about it, good, bad, the ugly, it's made you the person that you are today. And if you love who you are, then you've done everything in your life. Okay. I think you can say that. I think you can say you've done pretty good. Now, I lost my eye because I think they don't really know, but we think it's when I hit my head on the side of the car. There were cuts to my eye. So there were like 3 to 4 millimeter gashes in there. But I don't remember any of that. So I don't think don't give me too much credit because I don't remember any of that stuff. I didn't, but I've heard about that IV, about the pilot. But yeah, I was in a wreck. I have a metal in my face. I'm gonna actually, I think I'm gonna pull up my Instagram. I have an Instagram at TitaniumBuilt. You guys can always go over and check it out. It was my personal Instagram before it was my TitaniumBuilt one. So literally, I don't know what's on there. I don't know what y'all are gonna find. I don't know what y'all are gonna see. You might see me drinking a beer. Close your eyes. Close them. Close them. I'm not 21. No, but I think that if you go over there, you'll just be able to see some of them. Why are you stupid? You're not stupid. Yours should be sorted now. I see it now. Oh, Isabel, good. Well, if they ended up flying in from me, you'll know why if you get like 5 emails. I'm like, are you okay? I think the last email I sent you, I was like, Isabel, just tell me you're okay. I was like, tell me you're okay. It wasn't mean. It was just like, I just need to know you're okay. I think I was worried about you, but Isabel, for some reason, I always know that I don't know. I feel like you're always like, you're so strong to me. And so then I was afraid that it was Bracken, because Bracken's our buddy. And, I knew that Bracken wasn't feeling well and stuff. So then I was like really nervous about Bracken, and I'm glad that everybody's here and we're all good. How young are you? You're 60. I'm 38. 38 years young. 38. Almost to 40. Ooh. Nah, it's not that bad. I'm starting to, you see changes. But Oh, thank you, Miss Ma'am. Oh, you had a bad accident too? You don't remember either? Oh. Oh my Lord. Hanging outside the driver door when you are extremely lucky. Wow. If that car would have rolled. Oh my Lord. We're here for a reason. We're here for a reason. Engine came in on me. We hit a tree. It was a single car accident. Hit a tree and the engine block dropped and it pushed like all the way back. Where do you live, Deborah? Hold on, where do you live? It should be that much for shipping. It should be $8 or something. If not, I'll have to figure that out for you. But yeah, I'm glad that you're here with us too, because we actually, speaking of accidents, we just lost a member due to a car accident a couple weeks ago, and a good friend of mine. When I saw my counselor last week, she was like, "What's going on? Anything new?" I wasn't going to tell her anything. And then I told her it all. And I think by the end of it, she was like, she was just like, no. Oh, the angel. I thought you meant for the candles. I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean 29? Where do you live? That's so funny. Oh, now I see it. I like that. It's different. I like it. Oh. You know what you buy your blind dog for Christmas? The best food. Something that you cook. That's what Bracken wants. He wants some of Mama's home cooked meal. That's what I mean, because smell. You could get him like a toy that's like a sensory type of toy, or like even one of those like Thunder Buddy, like the little jackets that like, to make them feel calmer. I'm trying to think. Because like usually if you lose one sense, your others are heightened for you. So that could be fun. That could be fun though. What you don't want to do is turn everything around in the house. Now, maybe for April Fool's Day, you do that to Bracken. You just switch it up a little. Man. I love your doggy. I've never even met him. I'm going to put his little picture up there. He's so cute. Aries, me, I usually hide mine too. I try to, but I was in my feelings last week. Oh yeah, no problem, Miss Ma'am. My accident was actually my fault. I hate to admit this, but but I was in active addiction. I wasn't with addiction, but I was with alcohol. So I'm not that time, but I've been in an accident with alcohol. At the time I nodded at the wheel, thankfully clean. I'm going to tell you guys a story, and this isn't a good one. That happened to me too. I fell asleep at a stop sign. A car hit me. It woke me up. It didn't wake me up like, oh my God, I just got in a car accident. I was so tired. It just woke me up and I continued to drive on. All of a sudden, I got like 7 cop cars behind me. I'm like, what is going on? It's like 2 a.m. And they pull me over and they're like, they said my last name really loud. And I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Because I didn't know what happened. And they were like, you've been driving down the road, like getting Freon or whatever it's called, the green stuff, all over the road. Like, we're just following you. And I'm like, oh, crap. And it wasn't my car. It was my best friend's car. And she had just bought it like 2 days before that. So it was bad. But when I was younger, I got in an accident when I had been drinking a couple drinks. And it happens to the best of us. But like I said, you grow. You are always growing as a person. There's just different stages in which you grow. Oh, you want to see Teddy Mac's pics? I was gonna like pull it up because I saw you come in. I thought it's looking great. And then Teddy Mac with his humor. Yeah, I love food. You can get him even like different kind of treats, like sensory treats or something. I don't know. We're gonna think of something. Oh, do you want to see something really quick before I jump off of here? Look at this, Isabel. And I didn't just do this either. This was from the beginning of the year. Isabel's birthday. So I thought your birthday was either the 3rd or the 5th, but apparently it's the 4th. So I don't know why I thought it was the 3rd or the 5th, but I was close. So we're going to make sure we do something for your birthday. Oh, Aries, I can't text and drive. I don't do that. Vincent will check his phone every once in a while. I know he has 2 eyes, but I freak out. I'm like, stop it. Because I only have the one, so I always have to be concentrating. Oh, what color is my wall? It is Thunder Gray. I actually know the name because someone else asked. It almost looks like a green, but it's gray, and it's Valspar Thunder Gray. And we're going to paint a wall over on the other side like that too. So, because I want to move my studio over on the other side. So 45, and you start seeing changes at 42. Only 4. I'm seeing them already. I'm seeing them already. I looked in the mirror the other day. I saw my mom. I literally, if you have Snapchat, go to your Snapchat, go to the old filter, put the old filter on, and tell me if you do not look like your mother. Because I did that. And they shouldn't even have filters like that. I had all the emotions going. I was laughing, crying, like all of it at the same time. Because it looked just like my mom, but it looked like me. But it was so weird. My dad brought a lovely looking dog from a guy who said he don't look so good. My dad was confused because it was a pedigree. He didn't realize that what he meant till it walked into a wall. Oh, poor dog. You've always looked like your mom, Jan. Me too. I thought I looked like my dad because my mom had like blonder hair, blue eyes, light complected. My dad's all dark. But the more and more I look at myself, the more I see my mom. But I have my dad's personality, but my mom's gentleness, but my dad's sensitive side. We all sensitive. You are powerful, Aries. Sure as I look like my mom, but I have my dad's sense of humor. Me too. I feel like that too. It's a good balance. I think most of us, I think all of us, I think for the most part, anybody that's talked about their family in here, we all have, we've all come from a good upbringing. My mom used to say I should have been like a 50s housewife. I'm like, yeah, because I like old stuff. But I'm going to jump off of here. I'll be back on tomorrow evening. It's going to be Sunday tomorrow. So we're going to do an earlier live, I think. We'll probably do it around 7:15. But if anything changes, I'll always put on the community tab, but it shouldn't. So I will see you guys all tomorrow. If you guys want to check out any more, Chelsea Grimm coverage, I do have a playlist, but like we were talking earlier, Brian over at Let's Talk Live, he's done the mostest. He really has. He's done a lot with this case. So, and I didn't even realize how much he had done until like a few days ago. I was like, oh my Lordy. So it's really nice to, be able to go somewhere else and watch some more coverage if you'd like. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. I appreciate it so much. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye, guys.